We are answering Claudia's question about the obituary, and I kind of started while I was waiting. All right, so what is an obituary? It is a written text, not a speech, about a person who has died. And that person has to be of some importance or they do not deserve an obituary. Right, so where are obituaries published? Online, in newspapers and magazines, and then it can also be in like local magazines. So our school magazine would have obituaries for people in our school community. Would those people generally have an obituary outside the school magazine? No, they just weren't well known enough or important enough. So you have to be of some importance. And you could be in a church magazine or a local club. Maybe you belong to a football club and you belong to that club and then you die. That club might give you an obituary which they send out to the club members. Are you getting it? Right. Obituary has a template. You start with paragraph 1. You give the name of the person, the first name and the surname. You say he died yesterday at his home in Cape Town after a long battle with cancer. Now, the people who wrote the CAPS document, bless their cotton socks, don't like died, they like passed away. In English, you don't pass. You pass away or you pass on, or you can even pass over, but you don't just pass. I hate it. The person died. This is called a euphemism. I hate euphemisms. But if you're worried that the marker wants a euphemism because the CAPS document says you must have a euphemism, then for heaven's sake, worry about your matric marks and say passed away. Please notice it's very, very recent. That obituary is written instantly. If you're important enough, I know my students are always quite horrified by the idea, but people living now, important people, politicians, world leaders, celebrities, their obituaries are already basically written. Because think about it. It's announced that the person has died. People are expecting on TV, on social media, on news platforms, they're expecting that obituary within minutes. You can't wait for the person to die and then put it together. So I know my students always feel incredibly uncomfortable. But if you are a high-profile person, any news organization is basically going to have your obituary as up-to-date as possible. And if you're very, very important, they obviously want to do interviews. They can't wait for you to die to do those interviews. What if the people who really knew you well have already died? They need the interviews before they die. If you get me. You get me. Okay, so John Smith died yesterday at his home in Cape Town. You tell me where he died. You're very specific. And then you usually tell me why. If you feel that the illness is inappropriate, you can say after a long illness. You don't have to say something if you feel people would be upset. Okay, right, that's your introduction. How many words is it? Mbali, where's my calculator? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's 14 words. So it's really, really short. Okay, that's your introduction. That's all I want. Now, paragraph 2 should be short also, not minusculely short like that, but short. And what do you put in this one? I've almost got this finished. Born and educated in blah, 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 he moved to blah, 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 where he attended FET college. He achieved da-di-da-di-da and started working at blah, blah, blah. He and his partner have 5 dogs, 3 children, whatever. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you like to put in the name of the partner in full, and if there are children, you like to put the children's names in full. I worry about the amount of space. I mean, you don't have the number of words, so be very, very careful. So what goes into paragraph 2? Something about born. Oh, what about the dates? Hang on. Dates. So I would put here John Smith. This is my heading. 1956 to 2020. Okay. So in other words, I don't have to put born in 1956 because I've got it up there in the dates. But otherwise, you could put the date in here if you want to. And I have him educated in the same city. Then I'm getting him moving for some kind of tertiary education. So I've got him moved on. And then where do I go here? Hang on, wait. Okay, then some kind of achievement maybe at the FET college. You don't have to go into that in much detail. You could take that out if you wanted to do. You can put where he started to work, and you could do something about his marriage or whatever. Oh, I am having fun here. Right. Okay, right. Now we come to the crunch paragraph. Let me get my color back. This is where you should focus. This is paragraph 3. Now, why is this paragraph important? This paragraph is, why has John Smith got an obituary? Here, why is this man going to be remembered? What were his successes? That's what goes in here. Now be very careful. Check the topic. I know one year for home language, they asked for the obituary of a biker. And that caused me to pause. So Claudia, you said, how do I do the mind map of a biker? How much do I know about bikers? Why would this biker have got an obituary? So are we assuming that he was a competitive racer? So I could put races that he won. And for how long? So if I were planning this, and Claudia, this is what you asked about, how you plan it. So I'm now on paragraph 3. This is my important paragraph. So maybe I come to the fact that he's a biker. It's quite important, right? So maybe he entered many competitions. Am I going to have him enter those competitions locally? Are they going to be international? Do I know enough? And presumably he's going to win. What else do bikers do? Well, I know that bikers sometimes show an interest, for example, in children who are ill in hospital. So I'm going to make this biker, this really, really successful guy here, maybe he was part of something like Reach for a Dream and supported. Because like they're footballers, you must have seen them. Some really well-known international names who visit children in hospital and do things for them and give them a chance to have something that they wouldn't have otherwise. So I'm going to make this biker a humanitarian. So he's not just going to be driven, he is going to have humanitarian achievements. And remember, you need to plan the number of words. So if you're going to, put 30 words here and 30 words here, do you realize how long this paragraph is already? So this is the important paragraph. I really think 60 to 80 words, depending on how long you've got for your obituary. It's the important one. That's paragraph 3. Then paragraph 4 is your conclusion. All you do in paragraph 4 is you say, he is survived by. That means close family who are still alive. So his mother, his partner, and 2 children. Right. Then you pay a final tribute. So John Smith will be remembered not only for the glory he brought to South Africa in his many competitions, but for the joy he brought to those who suffer and are underprivileged. Something like that. And you end with this. Now, I know that the CAPS document says as well that you can have things like funeral arrangements, but for me, the funeral arrangements go in a different part of the newspaper. And anyway, I probably run out of words. Okay, so Claudia, that's how you do the mind map of an obituary, but you must follow that template. Seriously, if you follow those paragraphs and you put into that, because remember what I said earlier, was I talking to Veronica? I think I was, when I said the content is much more important than how many paragraphs should I have. So you need to think about the content.